Welcome back to another Disney podcast, my ADP family.
What is up?
Our
Our
ADP family.
why is it got to be your
Gosh,
ADP
man.
family?
He's so selfish and needy at the
Gosh,
same time.
jeez. All right, well, goodbye. It's been nice.
This is another Disney podcast production.
We are back. We have developed a great pattern of every 2 weeks. I miss weekly, but you have a new baby in the house. Your wife is probably getting back to work this week or last week.
Yes.
It's the holidays. We'll find a flow. Every 2 weeks is great. Maybe when stuff like that happened last week, we can chime in. But it was Thanksgiving, at least here in the States, so it didn't really work. I was traveling. You were Thanksgiving-ing. You had family in town. It was it's just one of those things. But we love doing the show.
Exactly.
And can I just say, I have music. I don't know what it's just in here. So I was playing this before we started. This music at all doesn't fit what I'm about to say, but Brandon and I love doing this show.
Correct.
It didn't start off with Brandon, but man, have we gone to the moon with Brandon.
Oh, I feel special. We've gone to the moon. We're like Artemis 1.
We are currently on Artemis.
It's like Artemis 1. It took a while to get off the ground, but once it did, baby, straight to the moon.
She flew. Other people like this, which is never why we did it.
No.
And we have to pat ourselves on the back. I guess I don't know how to do. We're just celebrating. We have had 10,000 downloads of our show. That's unreal.
That is pretty crazy.
I don't have that many friends, so somebody else is listening.
Somebody is interested in what we have to say.
So, thank you.
Yes, thank everyone.
I mean, where do we go from here? I guess up, like Artemis 1. I don't know.
I guess we got to go to Mars now. We've been to the moon.
There you go. So I don't know. That was pretty cool. I was following the numbers, but I hadn't paid attention to it. And when I was on vacation, I peeked and I was like, oh my gosh. And I sent a screenshot to you guys, and here we are. So, hey, amazing. All that to say, thank you for listening.
Thank you. And we definitely don't do it for the numbers. We love just connecting every week and talking about Disney. And we're just happy that somebody wants to hear us ramble about what we have to say.
So let's jump right in with our favorite segment that we call News and Brews.
I already opened mine, so I had to be like
Brews and News.
Brews and we've been doing this segment for at least since the summertime, and we still have no idea what to call it.
That's spicy.
What you got?
I like it. I have a local-ish. It's like 2.5 hours away. Called Blue Toad.
Ooh.
It is a spiced cider. I'm guessing it's their Christmassy one, but it doesn't look it looks wintry because there's just pictures of trees with no leaves on it. So I'm going to go with winter, but it's like gray and blue. So I'm not feeling the Christmas vibes.
No, that's definitely like barren winter, but it tastes like spicy cider. So that's good.
Yeah,
I'm going with the, this one sounds
Blue Toad out of Virginia. They're near Charlottesville.
Oh yeah, Blue Toad. Yeah, Roseland, right? Roseland,
yes,
Virginia.
That's them.
I got a Juice Force IPA. It sounds very official. It's from Voodoo Ranger, but
yes, I see.
It's cool because it's got there's like a fighter pilot on there. He's a skeleton though. But Juice Force, it sounds very imposing, and it definitely is because it's 9.5% alcohol.
Wow. I thought I was getting risky with my 6% and 16 ounces.
So hopefully I'll still be with you at the end of the show.
Fumbling and bumbling and stumbling.
Yes,
Brandon,
indeed.
You found some great news stories.
I did.
I'm just going to jump in with the first one, even though you picked it, because I think this will lead into what we're clearly going to talk about when it comes to Disney news and Disneydom. And that is the Walt Disney Company as a whole reaches pre-pandemic employment figures. Wow.
That was surprising when I saw this. This news story, because when you're down here, everything you hear is like, we can't do this because we're not fully staffed. We can't do this because we're not fully staffed. So to see the fact that they've reached pre-pandemic levels worldwide was absolutely surprising, and I'm super glad that they have. This will definitely lead into some of the things we talk about during the show, but this is encouraging news as we continue to get back towards a new normal. not the old normal, not regular, but at least a new normal. So this was definitely encouraging.
So I have thoughts to just skim over the story that Blog Mickey posted on the 29th. In 2019, the Walt Disney Company had approximately 223,000 employees worldwide. That's important because we need to talk about this from an outside the parks perspective, or larger than the parks perspective. That is the Walt Disney Company. Yes. That is not Walt Disney Parks Worldwide is the company. So that's important. Then COVID-19 happened. There were obviously by October of 2020, they had dropped by 20,000. So down to 203,000, and layoffs were still yet to come in large numbers. And in October of 2021, they dropped all the way to 190,000 employees. Not that great at math, but that's more than 20. More than 20,000.
That's a lot.
It's probably closer to
30-ish. 33,000-ish.
So now, with domestic theme park business back up, and here it goes. And theatrical schedules normalized. That's important, I think. The Walt Disney Company employs about 220,000. So that's just 3,000 short than pre-pandemic levels. So why I think you nabbing this story, and I don't know if you put it as the first story on purpose,
I did.
But I think this plays well into what we're going to talk about. And we'll just let the cat out of the bag. You can tell by the title that this is certainly about Bob. Brandon wanted to be like, what about Bob? But I think we're so old that like 80% of our listeners would be like, what? That's a pun?
Yeah, they don't know that movie.
We just went with Bob. So I don't want to be too much of like a spoiler or what I had a friend years ago like to call me, don't be a hood ornament, like because the hood ornament arrives on the car before you do because it's way out in front. I grew up when the front ends of cars were like half the length of a bus. So you have to excuse me. You got there pretty early. So here's the thing. I know Bob announces layoffs. Chapek, sorry, we have to start using last names on this episode. So Chapek was announcing all these layoffs. But here's the thing. With Iger back, the company regrew back to almost pre-pandemic levels under Chapek. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. But just put that, like, it takes a long time to get hired by a massive corporation. It's not like that didn't grow in the past 2.5 weeks since Iger jumped back on board. I don't even think it's been that long. I'm not good at math.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's what people forget. Like Chapek, you and I have had the opinion of Chapek that we're not the 100% Chapek poo-pooers.
Yeah.
We live in the world of Disney parks, and that maybe wasn't a number one concern of his. So, the circles that we hang at, Facebook and podcast and things like that, obviously they're going to have a different opinion of Chapek than the actual business side. So, yeah, I think it's important to note that this growth and getting back after, a historic pandemic happened under Chapek's watch.
Yeah. And I know the biggest pushback that people will have is the park's bringing the most profit and something. Yeah. I mean, second to like theatrical releases in Disney Plus, sure.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't the case 8 months ago. Like it took a while to get back. I don't know. Let's just move on to the next story. So good. The Disney company as a whole is all the way back to their numbers from 2019. So like still somewhere to go. Hopefully they'll continue to need more because they grow as a company, because obviously any company that grows, especially one like Disney that we all love, certainly though those benefits will trickle down to us normal people who love the company of Disney. The company of Disney,
Disney.
Buddy, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Disney. Thanks for coming over tonight for a drink.
Words
Disney
are my favorite. Okay, next story.
So the next story, that kind of speaking of trickling down to the people that are in the parks, obviously with Iger coming back, one of the biggest discussions is going to be what is going to change. And this news story I thought was interesting. Iger had a town hall with employees, and obviously one of the first questions to him was, what's up with the reservation system? right? What's going to happen with it? And as usual, as any good CEO does, he deflected and said, I'm going to have to discuss that with my park CEO. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this. I'm on the fence about reservations. Like, I was talking to somebody who's employed at Walt Disney World, and they brought a great piece of information or a great perspective on this to me, because everybody's like, we want the old fast pass system back. We want to be able to go on 60, 90 days before, select our 3 rides. So we're ready to go. And my friend said, did you realize that you were making a reservation for your fast passes, correct? Like you're doing the same thing. It just doesn't have anything to do with the park. So it'll be very interesting to see what Iger and DeMauro have to say about the reservation system. We'll talk about it a little more down the line in the show. But
I'm going to save all my thoughts and opinions.
We will do that. But I thought it was interesting that, I mean, coming back to Disney, like you knew, like, you know, when you're going to a debate and you get prepped by your debate team, like this is one of the questions that he should have had an answer for, right? Like to me, so they're going to ask about Genie Plus. They're going to ask about the reservation system. Like that's going to be the questions.
Well, you know how this all works, right? There was an assistant just off stage, and right before he walked out, she was like, Bob, you hand him this piece of paper, and he opened it up and it said, anything about parks, say you have to talk to Josh first. And he's like, got it.
Got it. I mean, that's smart. That's smart. But I mean, you were prepared for this. And Iger was always behind the scenes. He never truly left Disney.
Yeah.
And a lot of these systems and ideas were his before he even left. So I was just surprised that there was not a better answer than I have to talk to Josh. Like you were there like a week before, you could have maybe met with Josh to formulate some sort of answer. But I digress.
Josh was too busy training all the new employees that are probably going straight to Disney parks.
I guess.
Oh, man.
So, I was interested in it'll be interesting to see.
These all play well into our whole topic of, Bob. Okay, the last news story. I feel like this was announced right before the 50th, right? I feel like the Hey Disney voice assistant, right? Do you guys remember that? Because it has been a long time.
It's been a minute.
Not since this has been announced, but it's just been a long time. And I jokingly say that because it's like I had completely forgotten about this. And so I'm excited that it's here, but I feel like, I mean, maybe they just had to, maybe they were back ordered, but aren't they just Alexas, or are they a little bit? I haven't physically seen one.
I mean, I guess they're Mickey shaped Alexas, and then
with this little bow tie and the like. I feel like it's all. I feel like he's dressed up for the 50th. It's almost over.
But I guess with like supply chain issues and shortages and things like that, maybe this took a little bit longer to roll out than maybe anticipated. It would have been a cool thing to have for the.
Maybe Chapek laid off the people that were in charge of this.
Maybe, and it would have been cool to have during the 50th anniversary. You know, it only lasted for 46 months, so. You would have thought at some point they could have brought Hey Disney to the hotels. But
so for those of you who don't know what this is, Hey Disney is basically an Alexa in your Alexa stop. Sorry. It's an Amazon device in your Disney hotel room that you can ask certain things that are specific to Disney that week, that day, maybe upcoming, so on and so forth. Well, they've begun testing them at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. So that is cool. I'm assuming they're going to be in everyone eventually. But
I think it's going to start like the deluxe and then obviously weed its way down. The peons that stay over at All-Star Music and All-Star Sports, like
that'd be me.
They're going to get like the Echo Dot. You know, it's just the little thing.
Mommy, where's the screen? Sorry. We did not stay at the Polynesian. Here is their press release. Way back in the day. The Hey Disney voice assistant was developed from the ground up by Disney, featuring original character voice recordings and audio. This is my favorite part, with over 1,000 magical interactions to discover. Okay, let's stop there. You're on vacation. The fact that they've created that many means you have to spend a lot of time in your hotel room trying to figure out those 1,000 fun interaction. Anyway, yeah, it's just a customized Amazon assistant. I can't say her name because she's in here and she'll start talking to me. With a Disney skin over top of it, right? Literally, like physically and like softwarely. Softwarely. That's a real word.
Softwarely.
But this will be cool. I can't wait till we come back. Hopefully, by the time we get there, they'll like be in the rooms. And I personally like. Clearly, I'm an Apple guy through and through. I have these Amazon assistants everywhere in my house.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm surprised there's thousands of interactions, because mine are generally Alexa, set a 10-minute timer, or Alexa, show me a picture. Like those are my two, or play some music. So I would use 3 of those thousands of interactions.
Yeah, right now it is our I basically turn everything off but like dangerous weather updates, and that's it. And I just have like, I loaded a ton of our like vacation photos to like Amazon her name thing online, and you just choose that. I created a whole bunch of different searching for albums, and I just select that album. Right now it's the album Vacations. And it's just our family. It's great. But right now it says, for Dave, follow people and topics you are interested in. Alexa, no. Not interested. I just want this to be a glorified vacation picture show.
It's a picture frame
and a timer. Yeah, that's it. So, but this will be great. I think it'll be a cool way to quickly get information. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be something as simple of what's the weather today, and maybe hopefully advanced as, hey, what are our Disney Genie Plus for today, like, or for tomorrow, or on Tuesday? Like, I hope it's that customized to the customer. I don't know if it will be, but
it would be nice. Like, what are park hours today? Hey, Disney, reserve me 4 tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
Boom, done.
So hopefully it does some cool stuff
and charge it to my ex-husband's credit card.
Exactly. But I just see small children just standing in front of this forever. Their parents have paid thousands of dollars to go to Disney, and they're playing with a freaking Alexa that they have at home. So it'll be humorous.
And so it'll be Mickey, tell me a joke. That's what it's going to be, right?
That's what it's going to be.
Or hey, Disney, tell me a joke. I guess
tell me a joke.
Okay, good news and Bruce.
Good news and Bruce.
I'm enjoying my dry spiced cider.
I'm enjoying my 9.5% of freedom.
I guess we should do a check-in. How you doing? You feeling it a little bit?
I'm good. I only have to close one eye to see you. It's fine.
Nice. Well, I would close both the images much better. Okay, you wrote a fancy little note to kick off this section, so I'm going to let you own it and read it in all of its
This is my big moment.
This is your moment.
You never pass these off to me, so I'm a little unready.
I can't take it. It's not mine. You did it. You own it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. We all know that Disney parks are wildly popular. So with the news of the last week, obviously the changing of Bob's, it is unlikely that there are going to be any huge, large-scale changes in the parks front. But here at Another Disney Podcast, we love to guess, and we love to make projections and predictions that are bound to go horribly wrong. So we are going to talk about a couple things, or a list of things that we'd love to see Iger tackle that would bring some goodwill back to the fans of the mouse.
Well done. Well done. Well written. Feel good.
I feel good.
Right off the top, I have to let you read the first one because I don't know where I stand. And this is where all the tomatoes are going to come from.
Exactly.
Because I guess it's not that I'm what do you call it when you lose? I've seceded. Right, not succeeded. Yes. I have seceded to the fact that this isn't going anywhere. So I'm comfortable living in a world.
You've succumbed to the fact. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
I have been beaten into submission. That's
beaten into submission. And that, my friends, we've already talked about it. We talked about it a little bit during the news stories, but obviously not necessarily we, but we'll say we as the ADP family are hoping that Bob Iger decides to get rid of the reservation system. We've heard all the craziness about the reservation system, good and bad. This is kind of already starting to happen with single day tickets. When you buy a single day ticket, obviously to a park, that ticket guarantees your entrance to the park. So you then in turn don't need a reservation. So I am kind of on your side. So maybe the tomatoes are going to come at both of us, but reservations don't bother me so much.
Yeah. Okay. Let's debate. So here's where I'm at. It doesn't need to go away. It needs to be tweaked. We need to grab a couple of tools, and we need to loosen some bolts, and we need to tighten some nuts. Is that a good analogy?
That's a lot.
It's stupid.
That's a lot of nuts and bolts.
Yes. Here's where I stand. At our church, when I was on staff at our church, one of the things that I was responsible for was everything that happened on the platform on a Sunday morning at our campus. And so whatever happens on the platform, all of the tech behind it that was in charge of running what was on the screens, cameras, whatever. I was in charge of having volunteers run those positions. So the benefit of being able to see someone's schedule, know when they were available, and be able to book them, I don't know what, like schedule them for that particular Sunday in service to land in whatever role was part of what I did. It was extremely helpful knowing that they could go into the system that we use, and I knew that they were available. Because let's just be honest, we had some people that I would say, okay, they haven't blocked out this date, so they're available. And I would select them. They're like, oh, I'm out of town. So it always depended on somebody like doing their homework and doing that. Well, let me put this in Disney perspective. Being in that role, I understand the value of knowing who's free. Yep. And in Disney's case, if you tell me you're coming, I know that you're going to be here and I can staff accordingly. Okay.
Correct.
Did my analogy, did I land the plane well?
You did.
Okay.
You landed the plane.
So here's where I'm at with this. That's what the reservation system needs to be. And that's it. Here's the problem with it. It doesn't exist like that. This should solely be changed to, hey, Disney, we're coming. And there shouldn't be we've reached capacity. Now, if they're going to have times of the year, and how many times I forget, I can't think of a good example right now, but Christmas holiday shipping right now. If you bought something on Black Friday online, you may have gotten a thing like, hey, the shipping may take a little bit longer due to overpopular demand for this thing that you bought, yes. Right? Reasonable expectation. Like I get it. You just put it on sale for 80% off, and you just sold all 350 million units. And it's you have 8 people in your shop that's shipping this. It's going to take a few minutes. We get it, right? I'm okay if Disney says, hey, during the weeks of June 18th to June 31st, there may be limited availability at the parks due to the popularity of that travel time. Cool. But as a whole, it shouldn't be that you're locked in. And let me give you the best example. This is not an example for me. I've been scouring Facebook pages, blog articles, news articles, basically in the comments. Well, why are people so livid about? What is it that they're angry about? And there were a couple that were fantastic that switched my view. Because I used to be reservation system's fine. Like you said earlier, we did it with FastPass. We've been doing it. We've just been calling it something cool for Disney.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A lot of people, we're going to stay in the sphere of Orlando parks. A lot of people that come to Orlando don't just go to Disney. Now, I know that doesn't make Disney happy, but it's also a factual thing that's never going to go away because there's so many fun and exciting things to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna land the plane here because I've been talking a while. So the challenge with that is you come with your family of 8. Some of them may be older. You may come at a time of the year where you're living, the weather is below zero lots of times with snow and horrible weather. And so you come and maybe you're there for 10 days, right? And you're not going to Disney every day, but you maybe of your 10-day vacation want to go to the parks 3 to 4 times. right? The fact that you land in Florida has what? Very unpredictable weather for most of the travel season, right?
Correct.
So then you look at your reservation and you're like, oh crap, it's going to be awful the day that we're going to Magic Kingdom, but the very next day it's 85 and beautiful and there's not going to be any clouds in the sky. That's where I have the problem with it. You have to be locked in. Like, look, we all like, how many, dude, have you ever met anyone worse than me that gets their panties in a wad when it rains on their Disney vacation? Dude,
absolutely
it ruins my vacation. Am I wrong?
No, you are absolutely 100% correct. I mean, if you go to Disney with Dave, 90% of the time is spent on the weather app. Like, it's going to rain in 15 minutes.
Here it comes.
We have to go we have to go inside. We have to get on an attraction. We have to do something. Let's go eat. Yes. He is very concerned about rain on a Disney vacation.
Yes. I'm comfortable in my skin and I know I'm a whiny baby when it comes to that. So I get it when they're not just there and they have elderly people who maybe day 4, they're like, oh my gosh, mom is exhausted. We cannot go walk around Epcot. That's 4 times the size of all the other parks, and all the easy straightaways are blocked because you get all the daggone construction. So like from that perspective, that was the biggest one. I was like, that is the best point that I've heard. Like, you're locked in and you can't change anything because of weather, and you can't even pick a different park. And like, so that's the problem. Like, I don't like the system because it forces you to do something that if something happened, like, what's so wrong with, I'm here for 5 days, I'm going to Disney for 3, and on the day that I'm going to Disney, it's going to be horrific weather, but the next day it's going to be gorgeous. Like any other time in history, I would just go the next day.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem. So there needs to be that type of flexibility with the system, and just letting Disney know, like, hey, like, come on. If there's 60,000 people that are going to Magic Kingdom on Tuesday and 4,000 people change to Wednesday, that's not going to affect staffing. That's my point is, like, I don't, like, obviously don't know numbers, but I don't think that's happening that much. Definitely not a wave of people enough to shift like the paradigm of, oh, now we're overstaffed or now we're understaffed.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't have real numbers on it. Like, that's the problem with the system. It just needs to be hey, we're coming today and we're going to go to one of your 4 parks. That's what it needs to be.
Yep. And so here's my, I don't want to say inside information, but inside information. And this is why the reservation system still exists, because believe it or not, regardless of what it may seem like, there are still capacity limits in every park at Walt Disney World. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like they opened it up back to pre-pandemic levels. There are still capacity limits at every park. So for now, that is why the reservation system still exists. It's easier to get a reservation because obviously capacity is higher. So say normally they operated at 80% capacity. Maybe they're now at 70% capacity. But you still have to know where that 70% is. And then that's why the reservation system still exists. Do I think it should exist any longer? No, in its current form, I agree with you 100%. It should just be a placeholder. It should just be when you go to a wedding and they say, please RSVP and pick your meal, right? That's what it should be. Like, I'm coming to Disney, like you said, for a week. I'm going to visit every park 5 of those 7 days. You know that during that week, I will be in a park for 5 of 7 days. I would feel like if they knew that, they could use some sort of predictor tool or something like that could say, all right, if they say they're coming 5 days, we can look at the hours of the parks and we can say Magic Kingdom's open to 11, so they'll probably come here on Wednesday. And that park closes early on Friday, so that's going to be a lesser crowd. But yeah, I think the reservation system it needs to be tweaked. I really want it to go away. I really want to get back to the point where, when we first moved here, like, I could just get off work. I didn't have to think about like jumping on the app and making a reservation. I could just be like, let's go to Animal Kingdom for the day and just get there and go. So that's the thing. I don't mind making a reservation. It's just an extra unnecessary step.
Right. Agreed. Okay. I don't think we said this, but this is our top 10 OBOBs or things we hope to change. I didn't. Brandon came up with this list, but it's a brilliant list. There's one thing that I have a problem with that is never. I mean, I never say never, but it's never going to happen, and that is something else that needs to. I think this ties in. This is why I wanted to jump in here and add it. It absolutely needs to change. When you buy tickets, unless it intersects with a holiday, that the tickets, if you come and buy 5-day consecutive tickets, you like the price of that ticket should be the same every day.
I agree.
Like, I don't like this. Like
Surge
on Tuesday,
pricing.
it's $139. On Wednesday, it's $169. On Friday, it's $210. No, like if you buy multi-day tickets in a row, it should be like the day you start. It's that, like, are you really? I mean, I know they're never going to do this, but like, and like, I don't even mind if it's like you put the number in your head of what you put the number in your system that the customer can't see of what the average is for that week, and just give me that one number. Like if it's 139 on Monday, 149 on Tuesday, 159, then just make it what is the average of those three? 142.50 every day.
Yeah.
I think that would make people feel like that's the thing. Like, here's the easiest way. Like when you book a hotel, right? We've been on hotels.com because we're booking for future vacations. And it's like, you see the daily breakdown. It's like Wednesday and Thursday, it's like $129 a night. On Friday and Saturday, it's $250 a night. But what you get to see is the overall average night for your stay. And I even think Disney does this. I'm pretty sure Disney does this for their hotels.
Yeah.
They should make the tickets the same way. I don't want to know that I'm getting screwed. Just give me the glossed over average of the week.
People don't do the research. Like, they just want to see the bottom line number. So yeah, I mean, that seems like an easy fix. In the background, you could just, if it's 100, 200, 300, 500, add them together, divide by 5. That is the daily price of the ticket. People are like, okay, it's $140 a night. We're good. Or a day.
But Bob, if you want to wow people, if someone goes a minimum of 5 days in a row and the cheapest day is 139, make all 5 days.
Make all of them 139.
That's how you wow people.
That's how you make it happen. Because again, the parks are wildly successful, wildly popular, and wildly profitable. So it's not necessarily that they have to keep jacking these prices up to continue to make money. I mean, people are going to come. The parties are evident. Every Christmas party is sold out for the whole year. So people are going to pay for it. So I agree with you. Let's make deals like that happen everywhere else in the real world, right? Yeah. So let's get on that as well. So that leads in to another thing, because this just started surge pricing, right?
Yeah, totally.
So here's another thing that we hope Bob would change: modified Genie Plus. I don't think they're ever going to completely get rid of it. It's too big of a cash cow for Walt Disney Parks. I mean, I don't even remember the last earnings call, but I mean, it was the number was in the B, right?
Yeah, sure was.
And how much that they made from,
and that's
Genie
for a
Plus.
Quarter, people. That's not the year. That's a quarter.
That's for a quarter. So I think they need to modify Genie Plus, and this is what I would like to see. I'd like to see a combination of the old Fast Pass system and the new Genie Plus system. I think the new Genie Plus system is great. Like, it works well, the interface is good. I just don't like the fact that, one, there's surge pricing. Just make it a price. Like, even if that price is $100 a day, just make it a price. Then you don't have to surge price it. Every other park in Orlando does some sort of this Max Pass, Fast Pass, Quick Queue, and it's $100 a day for a person. So just make it that, and then you don't have to worry about, before Thanksgiving was $24 a day, and today it's like $13 a day. It goes back to just like your park ticket. Like, how do you budget that? Like, you could plan to spend $15 a day for the 7 days you're there, and then by the time you get there, Disney says, wait a minute, it's a surge. Now it's $30 a day. So now you're double the pricing. So I think they just need to modify it. I'd love to see you be able to buy it early. I'd love to be able, you could, if you're staying on property, buy Genie Plus again at 60 days. Select your first, you've paid for it. So select your first Fast Passes. So I think there's a way you could merge the old system and the new system that would benefit everyone.
I think I can speak highly to this and lots of information about it because I've never done it. So I got no comment.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to think of it is during the old fast pass system, right? Once you used your initial 3, you had to pick them one at a time. Same thing. It's the same thing with this. Like, there's just another aspect now that you could buy more highly coveted rides as well. So you can get the Genie Plus and do your one fast pass at a time, and you can get your individual lightning lane and go pay for that as well. So like I said, like, just make that all one and charge more for it. That's all.
Yeah. Agreed. And don't surge it. Stupid.
And don't surge it. Just leave it. Just leave it where it is.
Okay. So our first news story, we talked about how cast members were, well, not sorry. Yeah. Well, they call all of them cast members, but the Disney company worldwide was almost back to pre-pandemic levels and numbers. So we're assuming that some of that staffing means that there's more employees going to parks. Fingers crossed. We don't know that, but that's what it. So with that, number 3, can we please bring back the dining plan?
Please, God, yes.
Now I say that because you put this in the news. I mean, in the top 10. I'm kind of neither here nor there. I remember way back in the day when you stayed at like a moderate resort. I don't know if they had them at the other ones. Anyway, like when you got it free, that was when we did it. We never paid for the dining plan. So I know for some people, it's worth it for them to pay. So to me, it's just like, it sounds like people don't want the, like, well, no. I'm saying like, I know. Here's what I want to know from what you've seen, like with the pitchforks and the, what do you call the burning fire sticks? What are those?
The torches.
There we go. With pitchforks and torches.
Burning fire sticks.
Blue Toad out of Roseland, Virginia. Are people wanting more for the free dining plan to come back, or just the dining plan as a whole? That's what I don't know.
I think they're just looking for the dining plan to come back in general. It doesn't have to be free. And I think this is why, having done it both ways, like many vacations, we did it. And there's, even when it wasn't free, we purchased it. It's just not having to think about meals, right? Like, you know, when you go in, you have X amount of lunches and dinners, you got X amount of snacks. You just go wherever you want. You don't have to, you know, depending on the dining plan that you have, if you want to take the time just to plan out sit down dinners and things like that, that takes a little bit of planning. But if you got a quick service, I mean, even if they don't bring it all back, bring back some version of the quick service dining, because that is just like pick and go. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the park, you're in Magic Kingdom for the day, you go get lunch at Pecos Bills, you know, you're going to get some tacos, you're going to get a drink, and you're going to get some sort of dessert. You go eat it, you're done. So I think it's more for the ease and not having to plan, especially when you have little ones that you're bringing. You know, you don't play that. You know, we sit around the parks and watch parents, like, we play a game called I Hate My Life, I Need a Drink, and Let's Freaking Go. Like, and we just look at people and we're like, that lady right there needs a drink. That mom just said, let's freaking go. But like, imagine having 3 or 4 kids, you go to a restaurant, you're like, what are we eating? Like, you stand around and you talk about it for 15 minutes. And then like, this person doesn't want to go to Pecos Bills and this person wants to go to Casey's. And so I think it just makes it easy. And it's just, you don't have to think about it. When you go on vacation, it's kind of like all inclusive, right? It makes you kind of feel like there's a little bit of magic there. So I think that's more why people want the dining plan. Not so much that it comes free or it's, you know, it's an added benefit. I think it just makes it's just easy. It costs about the same.
All right.
Whether you do it or you don't.
It's fair. Number 4, what do you got?
Number 4. And this is huge. I did see a story this week where minivans might make a return to Orlando International Airport. So I say, Bob, if you're listening, Mr. Iger, find some way to bring Magical Express back to Disney. Now, when we used to come to Disney World, this started the magic. And I'm talking like the full Magical Express, not like when you started getting into COVID, like the year before COVID, like you flew, you had to go get your own luggage, take it to the bus. Like, that's not magic. I want to see the full, and obviously this involves more people and more employees, but again, we're getting back to pre-pandemic levels. So they did it before, right? You put your tag on, you drop your bag at your home airport, you fly to Orlando, and you don't have to worry about your bag until you get to your hotel room. You go to the parks, you have a magical time, you come back to shower, your bag's there. Like, to me, that starts the magic. And I know that Iger is very big on like the magic of Walt Disney, like creating the illusion and making you feel like you're part of the magic. So what better way than to bring the first thing that people experience back to Disney World?
Yeah. I would love this. I'm with you. This is like, you get off your plane, like, especially like your family of 4, you've got your stroller and you've got your, like, I've been there with the 87 bags.
Yes.
To be able to just get off and be like, let's meander down to the 2nd floor and walk the long hallway and get on the bus and have our stuff magically appear in our hotel room. This would be, I mean, it wasn't called Magical Express. I mean, it was called Magical Express for a reason. I would love this. It's never coming back.
It's never, ever. It's never coming back. I think it's just, there's too much. There's too much to, like, you got to hire a third-party company with mirrors. And I mean, it's more profitable.
The frustrating
for Disney
part
to just let them do that themselves.
The frustrating part is, I think people are like, you probably landed the same camp as me and millions others that were all like, we're okay paying for it, just keep it. Like, if we have to pay mirrors, why not pay Disney?
Exactly.
And so that is the head scratcher for me. But I get it. This all happened pandemic times, and it was a way to free up however X amount of cash or X amount of cast members. I'm not sure. I don't know if all of them were Mears employees or they contracted with Mears for some of their fleet. I did not dive that much. Either way, it freed up cash. Like, that's 100% what it did. But and clearly they were doing it for free. And then I'm questioning, like, probably like, oh, look, let me look at this from a business owner standpoint. Disney probably looked at the numbers and said, okay, what if we start charging? Even though they'll come out at us with pitchforks and torches. I remember the word this time.
Torches.
It's because then they're going to like, Disney can't win either way, right? Let's just stop the conversation there. They can't win either way. It was probably an option to keep it and charge for it, and then everybody's pissed off because now it used to be free and now we're paying for it.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that argument fully, but now I want to poll those same people and be like, okay, so it's gone now. Would you pay for it now? And I bet you 90% of people's things will be like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the problem. We as a culture, as a society, we're reactionary and not responsive. Right. Like, that's where I fail as a parent more than anywhere else, is like, I always react. Oh, what are you doing? Instead of respond. Right. Yeah. And so we as a Disney community, we always react when it's something we love or something we hate.
Yeah.
And in this one, I thought it was stupid they were getting rid of it. Looking back now, I'm all like, I would have paid. But back to my original thought, I'm sure Disney looked at the numbers and was like, we'd have to charge $60 a person to break even. And we're not even making it. So I get, from a number standpoint, it probably made sense to hand it off to Mears fully. So that's why I'm saying it's not coming back. I didn't say I didn't want it to. I just said it's not coming back.
It's not. But here's the thing, like, just build it into the vacation price, right? Like, I mean,
agreed.
You're spending $5,000 to come to Disney anyway. What the heck is $300 more for your family of 4 to ride it? And like I said, like, the analogy I use in my day job all the time is like, we're going to offer a person one thing, or we're going to offer them the buffet. So I would say, Dave, like, we're here at this steakhouse for $19, you can have that steak and that baked potato. Or for $23, you can have steak, baked potato, you can have any salad, you can have a dessert, and you get any beverage that you want. You're immediately going to say, oh, that's only $4 more. I'm going to take that. So if you just build in Magical Express to the vacation package, I mean, people are paying anyway. They're going to come here and spend $1,000 to go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Like, it's $200 more to ride the Magical Express. So I think if they found a way to build it into the vacation price, they could do it. So that's why I'm holding out hope it's coming back.
Okay. I like it.
Like it.
I'm going to let you do number 5, because I don't I don't know a lot about this.
Yeah, and I mean, this is why I think Chapek is gone. Like, this is the number one reason that I think Chapek is gone, and I would love to see how Iger is going to make this happen, and that is Disney Plus. Now, I have Disney Plus, you have Disney Plus. We love Disney Plus. Apparently, Disney Plus lost billions of dollars last year, and to me, as an outsider, I'm like, how is that possible? Like, every single person has Disney Plus. Like, everybody I know watches it. Everybody I know pays for it monthly. So how is it losing money? And here's what I came up with. When Disney Plus first came out, there was deals for everything, right? I think a bunch of us were paying $2 a month. Yeah, ours just renewed at like $100 for the year or something like that. But I mean, we were paying $2.30 a month for the first 3 years of Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was
insane. You think about how many millions and billions of dollars have gone toward developing the platform and paying the people and paying for rights. Like, I mean, how much did Disney Plus pay for the rights to Hamilton? I mean, if you just look at that one program that's on Disney Plus, you can see how they lost money.
Yeah.
So this is really what Iger is brought in for, because as we've talked about, the parks are wildly popular and wildly profitable. Like, there's no problem there. And that's why we prefaced this list with these things probably are not going to happen, or they're not at the top of the priority list. This is. So I'm interested to see what Iger does and what his strategy is to make Disney Plus profitable. I would love to see if he can accomplish that. He's signed for 2 more years. So I would love to see if that's attainable in 2 years.
Yeah. I don't know the answer or the how, because I feel like getting a Netflix size Netflix, aka Disney Plus, off the ground. I mean, yeah, they had their library of all of their Vault VHSs came out, and you can now watch everything. But yeah, like, I mean, that's a lot of money and a lot of infrastructure and a lot of personnel. Like, I get, like, what sucks is the only way, like, why are they not making money? Because as much as they've raised their price, what is Netflix now? Like, to get the 4K Netflix, it's like $16 a month, $17 a month. And I mean, that's almost $10 more than what Disney's charging.
Exactly.
So that is part of it. Like I said, like, I was they launched, and for the first 3 years, it was $140 up front. That's what I did. That just ended in November, and we must have landed on a special, because to get a year, it was $79.95.
Yeah.
So that's what we just renewed at for a year. And so now when I think about that, I'm like, oh gosh, we got that at a reduced rate, and that's $160 for 2 years, and I just got done paying $140 for 3, right? And it's only going to go up. Like, so the answer is they have to charge more, which sucks.
They are.
Yeah, I don't see a way out of, I mean, it's just like, I mean, what is it common law that, like, you launch a business the first 5 years, you don't make money, right? I mean, so I think that, like, that might be where Disney, and they threw a lot of money and resources because of COVID. Like, that's another thing. Like, how many billions of dollars of resources went to that? And, like, I feel like when Disney Plus launched, like, obviously that influx at the beginning is going to be your biggest growth spurt. But, like, now I'm all, like you said, like, who else is there? Like, my concern is there isn't the thing. So I know they have it. It's called something different in other countries, but here's the other thing. Well, we should mention it. Like, if they're not fully global, how do they get more global? Because that's how you make more money. Because people all over the world love Disney. So I know it's in Europe, or maybe not. Maybe it's just the UK, but I don't know beyond that what their international
footprint is.
Yeah, when it comes to Disney Plus, or whatever they want to call it internationally, because for some reason it's not called Disney Plus in other parts of the world. But, like, that is how you have to, like, Netflix is global. That's what's so great about VPNs, right? Yeah. Like, when you can log into a VPN, and, like, we do it all the time. We log into a VPN and go on Netflix and act like we're in the UK to get a whole bunch of different stuff on Netflix that we don't have in the States. We do it all the time. So, like, you have to go. So more global, I guess we'll say they're global. So
more global. That's
more
good.
Global, because how much more, like, I feel like they're saturated in the States with the audience.
Yes.
There's not a lot of room.
Be like, I'll type on my computer, Dear Bob, Dave and I have figured out how to make money at Disney Plus. More global. Love, Brandon and Dave.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, will you put PS? You don't have to pay us anything. Just number 6, get rid of park hopping at 2 p.m.
Thank you.
WTF.
Jeez. WTF, get rid of park hopping at 2:00. It's the worst thing ever. And I saw a rumor that was swirling around when all this like reservation system going away, tickets changing, that for regular resort guests and day tickets, they were going to eliminate this park hopping at 2:00 thing. But for annual pass holders, they were going to leave the reservation system and the park hopping at 2:00 as is, status quo.
Stupid. But yeah, get rid of it. I mean, there's plenty of times like I'd love to go to Magic Kingdom from like 8:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning and, get your pictures in front of the castle when it's not packed on the street and jump on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and then you're done, right? Like I live here. I don't need to spend 12 hours every time I go to Magic Kingdom, but I'd love to jump over to Hollywood Studios, ride Tower of Terror at 10 o'clock in the morning. That would be great. I don't. Was he asked about it in the town hall? Like, I don't know the method behind it, the madness. I don't know the why. And I think that's what's driving me crazy. Cause I feel like I'm except when it comes to rain at Disney or cinnamon buns that can't be warmed up. Totally different story. I don't know what episode that was on, but totally different story. I feel like I'm a pretty, like if you give me hey, park hopping is at 2 p.m. because I feel like I could be like, okay, thank you. I understand. Like, at least I know the method behind the madness. Yeah. The problem is it doesn't make sense. And this deep into the world return, like you're almost back as a company at pre-pandemic levels. What is the wall? What's the fence that's saying, yeah, we still need to keep it at 2.
Can't do it till 2. Yeah. Like what keeps it at 2 and not at noon, or I would love to know that. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that somewhere in the brainchild of Disney, they're like, people are on vacation. It takes them a while to get going. We're going to give them a chance to, they made a reservation for Animal Kingdom. We're going to give them a chance to get here so they don't have to get up, butt crack early on their vacation. So by 2:00, if they're not here, then we're good. That's the only thing that I can think would be, let's just make it at 2, other than it was just an arbitrary time that they chose.
Yeah. And then flip the script, right? Doesn't Epcot still open at 11?
Generally, yes. It's been opening at 9. And I think they did that because a lot of Future World went away, essentially. So there's not there's not as much to do at the front of the park, because usually it used to be like the front of the park opened and then the countries would open later. I think just because there's not as much to do, I think now you can get back in the countries. Everything may not open, like the food booths and things like that for the festivals may not be open until 11 or so, but at least you can get in the park. I think you can get on, the god awful ride that is Frozen. You can get on Ratatouille, when the park opens. So, I have to get in my shameless plug of hatred towards Frozen.
I like that ride, but I like the ride before it better.
Yeah, Maelstrom's where it's at.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just like, that's a head scratcher for me, and I think it's mostly because I don't know the why.
Yeah,
I can look and be like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'll see if I can find out the why. I know some people. I know some people who know some things. Oh, and then I want to add this to in Bob's letter as a PPS, or is it a PPS or a PSS?
Well, I don't. Keep drinking, you're gonna have to PP.
I haven't written a letter in so long. I don't know what postscript, but hey, Bob, bring back extra magic hours for everybody on property.
Yeah.
Like make the extra
bonus
and make the extra magic hours significant hours. Like right now, it's like a half hour or like, what is it? 23 minutes or something that you get if you're in a deluxe resort. So, hey, I paid 10 grand, but I can go ride Mine Train 8 minutes sooner than Dave, who got rid of his annual pass. Like, it doesn't make sense, but bring back magic hours. This is catering to your fan base, right? Like, if you believe that the customers are the magic of Disney, and we're all to believe the song that we are the magic, bring it back. Just bring perks. This goes along with the dining plan. This goes along with park hopping. Bring back the perks of staying on property, right? The hotels are struggling right now. They're releasing so many deals where you get 30, 35, 40% off hotel stays. Obviously, people aren't staying there because the perks are gone. So just bring them back. Bring them back.
Yeah. I don't. Are they still called extra magic hours?
I don't the extended hours or
okay.
I think they're called extended hours, maybe. So even bring back the name. Come on, Iger.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, there's nothing extra about 30 minutes other than you're having to get up extra early to go. Like, that's the only extra. Like, yeah. I think that's a way that, like, right. I mean, when you think about this, I always want to, like, I'm trying to, you know, me, like when we did Reimagineer, I always try to be fiscally responsible, right? That was always a joke. I want to think that, like, I don't want to put on the angry park attendee hat. I want to put on the, like, hey, as somebody who runs a business, what are things that we can do to, like, improve our customer experience, right? I mean, the bottom line, that's what I mean. The magic, make the magic, whatever Disney spends it, it's what do we want to do to wow our customers? Like, at the end of the day, they just have a fancy spin on how they say it, right? So I feel like they should go for this low-hanging fruit. This is one of them. Like, make it back to like 2 hours before the park opens, 2 hours after the park closes. Those were special times about staying on property where it felt like it was magical because all the crowds were gone and you were just there with the biggest Disney fans who actually are staying on property, right? There was something like magical about it. Like, it's silly as that sounds. I remember those days and how we would plan our days and when we went to parks and when we parked up around
magic hours,
extra magic hours for sure. So I feel like some of these low hanging fruit, like, that's easy to do. That's easy to, like, look at it and be like, oh my gosh, what's 30 minutes? Let's make it an hour before. Like, I know it's not too, but like at least an hour, like 30 minutes. Like, I feel like there's still some, like, insider information. Pro tip: if there's some early breakfast reservations that you can get, you don't have to be on property to get those. And if you get them in a park, you get there on Main Street and can take pictures with nobody there, and you didn't have to stay on property. Like, you know, there's ways to even get around it if you book like this early breakfast meal, right? I don't even know if they're still doing it. I just remember those like, you want a picture on Main Street in the daytime with nobody there, book an early breakfast, you know, and then you get done and you're in the park with everybody, all of the early people, and you're riding a couple of rides for anybody gets there, right? So I mean, there were ways to achieve it prior to this thing. I don't know. I'm not feeling like 30 minutes. Like, here's my thing. I would look at this as a business owner and be like, 30 minutes doesn't add value. Get rid of it. I would it just needs to go away. Like, that doesn't add value. Like, that's a lot of stress that you're putting on some mom to get there because her 8-year-old's favorite freaking movie is Snow White and all they want to ride is that, and you don't want to stand in line with an angry 8-year-old for 90 minutes because you could, like, that's a whole lot of unnecessary stress when you could just be like, an hour before, honey, if we get up early, we can go and we can do it. But like 30 minutes, you're like, if one thing goes wrong, getting ready in the morning, one bus is late,
the monorail breaks down, which it does all the time.
The monorail, like, you're done. You're done. So there needs to be a little bit more flexibility. So like 30 minutes, you just get rid of it. Like, it's like, it's just, I don't know. I'm just rambling on, but this is low hanging fruit. This is stuff that like I think I've said this before. Working at Apple, we always had this thing that we called surprise and delight. Right? There was like, customer would come in and the end of their lightning cable was just gnarly and it didn't plug anymore. And like, how that had to work is like, you had to prove that your phone was less than a year old. You bring it in, we show it, all this kind of stuff to prove that, like, yada yada yada. And then we would swap out that cable, right? Well, sometimes it was just nice to be like, hey man, thank you, here you go, just give them the cable. Done. Like, what? It was that easy? Like, and you seeing there, like they're like, I didn't have to like swallow a sword and spit fire and like, you know, like, it's just so stupid. It's easy. And so these are those simple ways that Disney could surprise and delight. They're like, that's what sucks. Like, this kind of low hanging fruit, I feel like they could have said, he could, like, remember you were like, hey, they knew they were going to have this town hall. They could have had a couple of those things. It didn't have to be today, right? Or yes, like, but it could have been like, hey, starting in January, here are a couple things that we're bringing back. Dude, imagine the headlines that would have come out of the town hall meeting, and it would have been nothing but positive press, and stock would have rose.
Exactly.
It's easy thing. Like, and I'm not saying it's easy to put together, but it's easy to say, hey, within the next 90 days, this is coming back and we're going to do this. And like, no more. We all know you hate park hopping till 2. It's now going to be at noon, or it's now you can go, you park hop whenever you like, and like, it's going to by mid 2023, like, it's okay to be like, don't be like, okay, we're here to announce that tomorrow this is changing. Like that, there's no way he could have put that together in 2 weeks. But like by May or by
realistic,
the end of the 50th anniversary, here's what we're going to bring back. Right. I mean, it's, I don't know. Just random.
I agree.
Low hanging fruit, man.
Low hanging
fruit.
Pull it off. Speaking of another low, away some of the freebies again. That's not the good magic bands, but give away the cheap magic bands. Stop making people like, is it really worth someone paying $5 for one of the magic, like the red magic bands? And we always laugh and make fun of this, like in our neighborhood group on Facebook, like somebody's selling like a kids table for $6. Like, is it really worth, like, do you really need that $6? Just give it to somebody. So I think, again, goodwill, low-hanging fruit, things like this. Like, if you stay on property, you get a free magic band. Again, they always had the opportunity to upgrade and pay for a good magic band. But, like, I mean, those things are made in China for 8 cents by a factory of people. So giving those away when you've paid $7,000 for a vacation is not asking a lot.
You're not losing much.
You're not losing much. So bring back some of the freebies. We talked about dining. Once you bring back the dining plan, put the free dining back on a couple times a year. So low hanging fruit. Again, this is just low hanging stuff that would just be like, bam, guess what? Dining. Summer 2023 dining plan's coming back. Everybody get excited. You wouldn't even have to name specifics. You could just say, everybody get excited. More details to come.
Yeah, because summer lasts until like mid-September.
Exactly.
You got some time.
You got time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Okay, as a Florida resident, I want you to talk about some of the Florida. You added this one, and I really like this, but I don't live there. So.
I did. So something people don't really think about is the relationship between the state of Florida and Disney World, right? So Disney obviously is Florida, Central Florida's biggest revenue generator. It contributes millions and millions and maybe even billions of dollars to the state in tourism. But the political climate in the state of Florida is interesting, to say the least. And there's been a turf war essentially for the last year between Disney and the state of Florida. So I think, and Iger is very savvy. Many people wanted him to run for president just because he has that air about him. So I think that he could mend the relationship between Disney and the political folk in the state of Florida, because all you see, if you don't live in Florida, all you see is like the governor's fighting with Disney and Disney responds with this. And I think that just unless you dig into it and actually research it and know what's going on, that just creates negative press for Disney. I mean, it's not hurting them yet, right? But again, all the things we've talked about for the last couple of weeks and months on our show, like no new rides and things like that, that stuff, if that continues, it's going to start to have an effect on who comes to Florida. So I think Iger, and I am pretty sure he will do this because he did it while he was here before. I think he can mend the relationship with the state of Florida to smooth that over and make that kind of a better environment. So I threw that in because that's important, obviously, to the operation of the parks in Florida.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if this is a saying in business, but it should be. You can have a great partnership even if it's a bad relationship.
Correct.
Right. Like, right. I mean, this is not like a marriage. This isn't like a couples thing, right? Like,
exactly.
Like you can partner together and do great things, make great money, insert whatever great thing you want without like loving each other. It's fine.
Exactly.
Like, but like there's a way that everybody benefits. And I mean, well, let's just say Disney's done it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, so it worked. Whatever that was, figure out that special sauce.
Figure that out again. Yeah. Like you said, man, people just, how many movies have been made where the actors absolutely hated each other, but the movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing here.
Partnership over relationship.
Exactly.
Figure out the values. The values are like, if everybody's making money, like we can pat backs and shake hands. I mean, it's fine. Okay, our last one.
This is the last one.
And I guess I'll lead with this one as an idiot who is an idiot. Annual passes. If they return, it would be glorious. Now we kind of know that they're probably coming back in 2023, but again, low-hanging fruit that he could have announced that would have made big waves and said, coming soon, coming eventually, coming 2025. Just say something. Well, I need to talk to Josh. I'm not ragging on Iger. Like, it was like, whatever. Like, he's right. Like him coming back. I mean, I'm sure like he took over the Disney company, not the Disney parks. So we have to always remember that like Disney is way bigger than the parks, right? So it's a big rolling machine. So you have to give them some credit. Like they need to sit down and figure out, and to be honest, I think it's smart on Iger's part. Like Josh clearly has his fingers and pulse on the park because that's his job. Right. So for Iger to come in and say, well, how about can we do this? And then Josh has, unfortunately a 37-minute answer as to why we can't, right? They need to communicate on us. And like in the first couple of weeks, you can't figure out all that kind of stuff. Yeah. However, if this has already been like penciled in and it's coming, because we've heard rumors that like, because there's already been a price change, like we already know it's going to cost $100 more if all of these rumors are true. I guess we have to say that. Predictions sure to go wrong. Why not announce it? You don't even have to announce when. 2023. The last time I checked, there's 365 days. So you've got some time.
Yeah.
You got some time. So as somebody who reluctantly gave theirs up because they didn't know when they were going back and just figured, I'll buy it when I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'd like for them to return.
So you're saying, so if annual passes went back on sale January 1st, would you be willing to get one?
The answer is yes, out of fear that they're not like decide to go this summer and I want to buy them in June because I'm going in August, but they stop selling them in March. Yes. Like I feel like I don't have a choice.
And that makes sense. And that's kind of why I keep renewing ours. I mean, we go to the parks, once every 2 months, but like if I get rid of it, I may never be able to get it back ever. So I'm with you.
And you only have to go 14 days to get for them to pay for them. So
well, now that it's surge pricing, I only got to go 7 of the really popular days.
Right. You only have to go for 6 hours on Tuesday during June. That's fine.
Exactly. Oh goodness,
this was great. So
that was fun.
I mean, we wanted to say that this is a big ship and it's not easy to turn a big ship. I think that's a good analogy.
That's a great analogy.
Cool that Iger's back in this role. Don't expect anything quickly. However, I don't want to say this after we just saying, why didn't you say this? And why didn't you announce this? But don't expect they're obviously going after low-hanging fruit. We just want them to pick our low-hanging fruit. Exactly. Yes, they're going to I am thankful / hopeful that his focus right now is on park cast members because they, I think they need some love and they probably need some work, right? I mean, I have also as much as I've heard people saying man, what's going on with cast members sucks. I feel like I've also read the same amount of I had a horrible cast member experience, ... right? Yeah. So I don't know if that's a bunch of Karens or how much of it is true, but the fact that there's more leads me to believe it's just the working environment is probably not great. And so customers park attendees are feeling that from some cast members, and it's kind of hard how do you not blame them with kind of what they've been living through and living with and understaffed and every single thing that could possibly go in with that? Like we forget they're human, right? Yep. It's so easy, which is why we always make it a point to be like super nice to freaking cast members. Like, I don't care. I've never had a bad interaction with a cast member, and it's all because of the way that I treated them.
Exactly.
So it's really simple, but I get it. Like, people, like, they're human and people have bad days. So I'm hoping he's focusing really on them, because that will have a ripple effect down to us.
Correct.
For sure.
Correct.
So yeah.
So the letter will be on the way, Bob. You will have it in your inbox tomorrow morning. I expect a response, even if it's just like, I don't care. I expect a response. So Bob, coming your way.
And it's titled, "Oh Bob."
It's titled, "Oh Bob." ... Yeah. 10 things to get on.
Oh Bob.
Bob.
Well, this is good. Great topic.
This is good. Good to be back with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I know our 2-week schedule may leave some of you wanting, but maybe after the new year, we go back to our every week schedule.
Yeah, we'll find a flow.
We'll find a flow.
Some weeks, maybe we'll get to go back to back. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
See how it works out. We love doing it, and we're here for you.
We are.
That's our new tagline. We're here for you.
We love doing it, and we're here for you.
At ADP, we love doing it, and we're here for you.
That's going to be the opening.
Where's our... There it is. Here at ADP,
we love doing it.
We get up every morning with a fresh cup of Joe, ready to tackle Disney news for you.
I think News and Brews. We love doing it. We're here for you.
Oh, I love it. Okay, man. Good to see your beautiful face.
Good to see your face as well.
Till next time.
Till next time, people.
Bicycle.
Peace.